I gave her everything. $500,000. My retirement. My dignity. She looked me in the eyes and promised forever. Then she disappeared like I never existed. This is how a 29-year-old girl from Bangkok took everything from a fool who thought love was enough. The hardest part about this isn't the money. It's the quiet shame that follows you everywhere. It sits with you at dinner and wakes you up in the middle of the night. For a long time, I convinced myself that if I just kept quiet, the shame would eventually fade. It hasn't. It's only gotten louder. I'm filming this late tonight because the silence of the night is the only time I feel brave enough to talk about it. I finally decided to break that silence after reading a message I received this afternoon. It was from a viewer named Jason, who told me he'd been watching my content for 3 years, feeling a connection because he saw a certain resilience in me. Jason wrote that he was worried I had stopped posting personal updates because something had gone deeply wrong, and he ended his email with one line: "Just tell us what happened. We're here for you." Reading that, I felt an immediate, icy shock of vulnerability, the realization that my private pain was visible even through the screen. That was quickly followed by a rush of protective anger, directed at myself for letting this betrayal become my whole identity. But the final, most profound emotion was acceptance. Jason's unwavering support, his simple belief in my resilience, made me understand that keeping the secret was just perpetuating the fraud. Before I lay this entire story out for you, I need to ask you for a moment of your time. If you appreciate the honesty in this channel, please like this video. Drop a comment below, maybe share a time you felt profoundly let down, and tell me where you are watching from tonight. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I want to offer a true, heartfelt thank you to everyone who keeps showing up. Your engagement is not just a metric. It is the reason I can finally confront this chapter. You are the reason this confession is possible. This is the story of how I fell for the perfect deception and what it cost me. Let me take you back to the day the fantasy began. I'm sitting in a rented studio in Chiang Mai, staring at bank statements I can barely read anymore. The numbers don't make sense. They can't be real, but they are. $500,000. Gone. My entire retirement vanished into the Bangkok heat like morning fog. And the woman who took it? She's probably laughing right now, showing her friends pictures of the old American fool who believed her. The fan above me clicks with every rotation. Click, click, click. It's the only sound in this room besides my breathing. I've been sitting here for 3 hours, holding these papers, reading the same lines over and over. Account balance, $347. Previous balance, $430,347. Transfer date, 3 days ago. Recipient, wore a porn Suan. That's her full name. I didn't even know it until I saw it on the transfer records. I called her Fawn. She told me it meant rain. I wonder if that was a lie too. Everything else was. The condo we shared in Thonglor is gone. She's gone. My money's gone. I'm 69 years old, and I have nothing left except these bank statements and the memory of a smile that cost me everything. I keep asking myself the same question. How did I get here? But I know the answer. I know exactly how it happened. I just don't want to admit it. Because admitting it means accepting that I'm not the victim of some elaborate Thai scam. I'm just an old man who was so desperate to feel wanted that he ignored every warning sign, every red flag, every voice in his head that told him this was too good to be true. I gave her everything because she made me feel like I was worth something again, and now I'm paying the price. The worst part isn't the money. It's knowing that when she looked at me, she never saw a man. She saw an ATM with a heartbeat, and I let her. God help me, I let her. I never planned to end up in Thailand. Hell, I'd barely left Mississippi my whole life. I was born in Hattiesburg, grew up in Hattiesburg, worked in Hattiesburg. 43 years at the paper mill. Same shift, same co-workers, same lunch break where we'd sit outside and complain about the heat. I raised 2 kids in a 3-bedroom house on Oak Street. Michael and Sarah, good kids when they were young. Then they grew up, moved away, and stopped calling unless they needed something. My wife Janet and I, we stayed together because that's what you did. You didn't get divorced. You didn't quit. You just kept going even when the love ran out. She got sick when I was 65. Breast cancer. It took 2 years to kill her, and by the end, I think we were both relieved. I sat by her bed that last week, holding her hand, and she looked at me and said, "Horace, I haven't loved you in a long time, but I didn't hate you either. That counts for something, doesn't it?" I told her it did. I don't know if I believed it. After the funeral, I went back to that empty house on Oak Street. Michael came by once to help me sort through her things. Sarah sent a card. That was it. I kept working until I was 67. Then I retired with $520,000 in savings and a paid-off house I couldn't stand to be in. Every room reminded me of a life that felt wasted. I'd sit in the living room at night, drinking beer, watching TV shows I didn't care about, waiting to die. Then Carl called. Carl was a guy I worked with for 20 years. He retired 2 years before me and moved to Pattaya. "Horace," he said over the phone, his voice crackling with static, "you need to get out of Mississippi, man. Come to Thailand. It's beautiful here, warm all year, everything's cheap. You can live like a king on your Social Security. And the women, Horace, they're beautiful, and they actually appreciate older guys like us, not like back home where we're invisible." I laughed. "Carl, I'm 67 years old. What the hell would a Thai woman want with me?" He laughed back. "That's what I thought too, but I'm telling you, it's different here. They don't care about age. They care about respect, about being treated well. Come visit for a month. If you hate it, you go home. But I'm betting you won't." I thought about it for 3 days. Then I sold the house on Oak Street for $180,000, put the money in my account, and booked a one-way ticket to Bangkok. Michael called when he heard. "Dad, are you serious? You're moving to Thailand? You don't even speak Thai." I told him I'd figure it out. "Dad, please don't do this. Those women over there, they're just after money. You're going to get scammed." I got angry. I told him I wasn't an idiot, that I could take care of myself, that maybe if he'd visited more than once a year I wouldn't feel the need to leave. He hung up. We didn't talk for 6 months after that. Sarah didn't even call. I landed in Bangkok on a Tuesday in March. The heat hit me like a wall. I'd thought Mississippi was hot, but this was different. Thick, wet, suffocating. I took a taxi to a hotel near Sukhumvit that Carl had recommended. The driver didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Thai, so we just sat in silence while the city blurred past. Skyscrapers and temples, tuk-tuks and motorbikes, street vendors and neon signs. It was overwhelming, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. I checked into my hotel room, turned on the air conditioning, and sat on the bed. For the first time in 2 years, I felt something other than numb. I felt alive. I was scared as hell, but I was alive, and that was enough. I met Horace 3 weeks after I landed in Bangkok. I was eating pad thai at a street stall near Sukhumvit, sweating through my shirt, trying to figure out how to order a beer in Thai. I'd been pointing at things and smiling a lot, hoping people would understand. It worked most of the time. I was halfway through my noodles when she appeared, just walked up to my table like she'd been looking for me. "You look lost," she said in perfect English. I looked up, and I swear to God, my heart stopped. She was beautiful. Not magazine beautiful, real beautiful. Dark eyes, long black hair pulled back in a ponytail, skin like honey. She wore jeans and a simple white t-shirt, and she was smiling at me like we were old friends. "I'm not lost," I said, "just hungry." She laughed. "Mind if I sit?" I gestured to the empty chair across from me. She sat down, ordered something in Thai from the vendor, and turned back to me. "I'm Horace," she said, "but you can call me Fawn. It means rain." I told her my name was Horace. She repeated it slowly, testing it out. "Horace. That's a strong name. Old-fashioned. I like it." Nobody had called me strong in 20 years. We talked for an hour. She asked where I was from, what brought me to Thailand, if I liked Bangkok. I told her about Mississippi, about retiring, about wanting a change. She listened like she actually cared. "And you?" I asked. "What do you do?" She shrugged. "I work at a hotel, front desk. It's okay. Not exciting, but it pays the bills." She paused, then smiled again. "I like meeting people from other countries, hearing their stories. It makes me feel less stuck." I asked her what she meant by stuck. She looked down at her hands. "Bangkok is expensive. I send money to my family in Isaan. My mother, my younger brother, they depend on me. Sometimes I feel like I'm just working to survive, you know? No time for dreams." I got it. I told her I'd felt that way for 40 years. She reached across the table and touched my hand. Just a light touch, but it sent electricity through me. "Then we're the same," she said, looking for something more. When we finished eating, she asked for my line ID. I didn't even know what line was, but she showed me how to download it, how to add her as a contact. "Text me," she said. "Let's meet again. I'll show you the real Bangkok, not the tourist stuff." She left, and I sat there for another 20 minutes, staring at my phone. That night, she texted me. "I had fun today, Horace. You're easy to talk to. Let's meet again soon." I read that message 50 times before I fell asleep. I couldn't believe it. A beautiful 29-year-old woman wanted to spend time with me. I told myself not to get my hopes up. She was just being friendly. But deep down, I was already hooked. For 3 months, I lived in a dream. Waraporn and I spent every day together. She'd finish her shift at the hotel, and we'd meet for dinner, or she'd take me somewhere new, temples with golden spires that reached into the sky, night markets where she'd haggle in Thai while holding my hand, laughing when she got the price down, rooftop bars where we'd watch the sunset over Bangkok, and she'd lean against me and say, "I'm so happy with you, Horace. You make me feel safe." I'd never made anyone feel safe before. It was intoxicating. She never asked for money, not directly, but I saw the way she looked at things. A silk dress in a shop window at Chatuchak Market. Her eyes would linger for just a second too long. Then she'd smile and say, "It's beautiful, but too expensive." So I'd go back the next day and buy it. I'd give it to her that night, and she'd cry and kiss me and say, "You don't have to do this, Horace. I don't need things. I just need you." But I wanted to. I wanted to give her everything. She made me feel like a man again, not some invisible retiree waiting to die. In month 2, I suggested we move in together. We were having dinner at a small restaurant near her hotel. I'd been thinking about it for weeks, rehearsing what I'd say. "Fawn," I said, "what if we got a place together? Something nicer than my hotel room. We could split the rent." She looked surprised. "Horace, are you sure? That's a big step." I told her I was sure. "I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to build something with you." She reached across the table and took my hand. "I want that too. But Horace, I can't afford much. My salary. It's not enough to split rent on a nice place." I told her not to worry about it. "I'll cover the rent. You just cover the utilities and groceries. Does that work?" She nodded, tears in her eyes. "You're too good to me. I don't deserve you." I told her she deserved the world. We found a condo in Thonglor the next week. 2 bedrooms, modern kitchen, big windows that let in the light. 35,000 baht a month. I paid the deposit in cash. 6 months up front. 210,000 baht. About $6,000. When I handed over the money, Fawn cried. She threw her arms around me and whispered, "I've never had anyone take care of me like this. Thank you, Horace. Thank you." We moved in 2 days later. She didn't have much to bring. A suitcase of clothes, a few pictures of her family. I asked her about them, and she showed me a photo of an older woman and a teenage boy. "My mother and my brother," she said. They live in Barry Ram. It's a small village, very poor. My father died when I was young, so I take care of them." I told her that was admirable. She smiled sadly. "It's just what you do. Family is everything in Thailand." That first night in the condo, we sat on the balcony, drinking beer, watching the city lights. She leaned her head on my shoulder and said, "This feels like home." I kissed the top of her head. "It is home." For 3 months, I was the happiest I'd ever been. I bought her jewelry, gold bracelets, necklaces with jade pendants. She'd protest every time. "Horace, this is too much." But then she'd put it on and smile, and I'd feel like a king. We took trips to Pattaya, to Hua Hin. We'd walk on the beach at sunset, and she'd hold my hand and say, "I never want this to end." I didn't either. I was spending money faster than I'd planned, but I didn't care. What was money compared to this? Compared to feeling loved, feeling needed? I transferred $5,000 a month into my Thai bank account to cover expenses. Rent, food, gifts, trips. It felt sustainable. It felt right. I was living the dream Carl had told me about, and I'd never been happier. Her mother got sick in month 4. Fawn came to me one night in tears. I'd just gotten home from a walk. She was sitting on the couch, her phone in her hand, mascara running down her face. "Horace," she said, her voice breaking. "My mother, she's in the hospital. They say she has diabetes. She needs medicine, insulin, but we don't have the money." I sat down next to her, pulled her into my arms. "How much do you need?" She shook her head. "I can't ask you for money, Horace. You've already done so much." I lifted her chin, looked her in the eyes. "Fawn, how much?" She hesitated, then whispered, 60,000 baht. For the medicine and the hospital bills. 60,000 baht, about $2,000. I didn't even think about it. "I'll transfer it tonight." She cried harder. "Are you sure?" "I'll pay you back, I promise." I told her not to worry about it. Family is important. I'm happy to help. I transferred the money that night. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "You're saving her life, Horace." "Thank you." "Thank you." A week later, her brother's motorcycle broke down. He needed it to get to work. $1,500. I sent it. Then her sister needed tuition money. $2,000. Then her aunt needed surgery. $5,000. Then her cousin was getting married, and Fawn needed money for a gift. $1,000. Every month, there was something. At first, I didn't mind. I told myself this was part of Thai culture. Families help each other. Fawn explained it to me one night over dinner. In Thailand, if you have money, you help your family. It's just how it is. If I don't help them, who will? I got it. I respected it. Hell, I wished my own kids cared half as much. But the amounts kept growing. 5,000 here, 10,000 there. I started keeping a notebook, writing down every transfer, telling myself it was temporary. Once her mother was healthy, once her brother got a new job, once her sister graduated, it would stop. But it didn't stop. By month 6, I'd sent over $50,000 to her family. I mentioned it to Carl one day. We were having lunch at a restaurant in Pattaya. I was visiting him for the weekend. "Carl," I said, "how much do you send to your girlfriend's family?" He looked at me over his beer. "I don't." I told her from the start, "I'm not a bank. If there's a real emergency, okay, I'll help. But I'm not funding her entire village." I felt a knot in my stomach. Fawn's mother is sick, and her brother needs help. It's not like she's asking for designer bags. Carl shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe she's playing you, Horace. These girls, they're good. They know exactly what to say, how to make you feel guilty. Just be careful." I got angry. "Fawn's not like that. She loves me." Carl raised his hands. "Okay, man. I'm just saying, keep your eyes open." I left early that day. I didn't talk to Carl for a month after that. When I got back to Bangkok, Fawn suggested we open a joint account. It'll make things easier, she said. For rent, for bills, for emergencies. We won't have to keep transferring money back and forth. It made sense. I went to the bank the next day and opened an account. I put $50,000 in it. Fawn cried when I showed her the bank book. You trust me that much? I told her of course I did. We're partners, Fawn. What's mine is yours. She kissed me. You're my hero, Horace. I started noticing things I didn't want to notice. Small things at first. Her phone was always face down on the table. If it buzzed, while we were together, she'd glance at it but wouldn't pick it up. Just spam, she'd say. Late at night, I'd hear her texting in the bathroom, the sound of the keyboard clicking over and over. When she came back to bed, I'd ask, "Everything okay?" She'd smile. Just my mother. She worries a lot. But I checked her WhatsApp once when she was in the shower. Her location said Bangkok. She'd told me she was visiting her mother in Buriram. I didn't say anything. I told myself there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe her mother had come to Bangkok. Maybe the location was wrong. I didn't want to be the jealous, paranoid boyfriend. But the joint account started draining faster than I expected. $10,000 one week, $15,000 the next. I checked the statements in secret, late at night when Fawn was asleep. Withdrawals I didn't recognize, transfers to accounts I didn't know. I asked her about it one morning over breakfast. Fawn, the account's getting low. What's going on? She didn't look up from her rice. Medical bills. My mother's treatment is expensive. I pushed a little. Can I see the receipts? Maybe I can help find a cheaper hospital. She looked up, her eyes hard. You think I'm lying? I backtracked immediately. No, I just want to help. She stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. You don't trust me, Horace. After everything I've done for you. After everything you've seen. You think I'm stealing from you. I stood up too, reaching for her. Fawn, that's not what I meant. She pulled away. Maybe Carl was right. Maybe all you Farangs think Thai girls are scammers. That hit me like a punch. You talked to Carl? She crossed her arms. He messaged me on Facebook. Told me to be careful of you. Said you were probably just using me for sex. I felt my face go red. That son of a bitch. He had no right. She turned away. Maybe he's right. Maybe you don't really love me. Maybe this is all just a game to you. I grabbed her shoulders, turned, her to face me. Fawn, I love you. I trust you. I'm sorry I asked about the receipts. I was just worried. Please don't leave. She looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, Horace, okay. But you need to trust me. I'm not like other girls. I'm not trying to scam you. I held her. I apologized. I told myself I was being paranoid, that Carl had gotten into my head, that I was ruining the best thing that had ever happened to me. But deep down, I knew. I knew something was wrong. I just wasn't ready to admit it. She wanted to visit America. We were having dinner at home. She'd cooked tom yum soup, and we were eating on the balcony, watching the rain. She reached across the table and took my hand. Horace, I've been thinking. I want to meet your family. I want to see where you grew up. Can we go to Mississippi? I was thrilled. I'd been hoping she'd want to visit. Maybe if my kids met her, they'd understand. They'd see that this wasn't a scam, that Fawn was real, that I wasn't just some lonely old fool. Of course, I said, we'll need to get you a visa, but it shouldn't be too hard. I'll sponsor you. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You think they'll approve me? I told her not to worry. You have a job. You have ties to Thailand. They'll see you're not trying to stay illegally. The visa process took 3 months. I paid for everything. Application fees, translations, travel insurance, photos, courier services, $8,000 total. Fawn was nervous the whole time. What if they say no? What if they think I'm just a poor Thai girl trying to marry a rich American? I told her she was overthinking it. You're smart, you're employed, you're with me. It'll be fine. The interview was in Bangkok at the U. U.S. Embassy. She went alone. They don't let sponsors into the interview. I waited outside for 2 hours, pacing, checking my phone every 5 minutes. When she came out, I knew immediately. Her face was blank. She walked past me without saying anything. I followed her to the taxi. Fawn, what happened? She got in the taxi and stared straight ahead. They denied me. I felt my stomach drop. What? Why? She didn't answer until we got back to the condo. She went straight to the bedroom, lay down on the bed, and stared at the ceiling. I sat next to her. Fawn, talk to me. What did they say? She laughed, but it was bitter, empty. They said I don't have enough ties to Thailand. They said my job isn't stable enough. They said I'm a risk. I tried to comfort her. We'll reapply. We'll get a lawyer. We'll prove you have ties. She turned to look at me, and her eyes were cold. It's not going to work, Horace. I didn't understand. What do you mean? She sat up. They don't want people like me in America. Poor Thai girls with old foreign boyfriends. They think I'm a scammer. They think I'm just trying to marry you for a green card. I told her that wasn't true. We'll fight this. We'll show them. She laughed again, that same bitter sound. You don't get it. It doesn't matter what we show them. They've already made up their minds. Girls like me don't get to visit America. We're not welcome. I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Fawn, please, don't talk like that. She stood up and walked to the window. Maybe they're right, Horace. Maybe I am a scammer. Maybe that's all I'll ever be to people. The word hung in the air. Scammer. I told her to stop. You're not a scammer. You're the woman I love, the woman who makes me happy. Don't let them take that away from you. She didn't turn around. I need to be alone right now. She left the condo, didn't tell me where she was going. She came back at 2 a.m, smelling like cigarettes and alcohol. I didn't ask where she'd been. After that night, everything changed. She stopped smiling, stopped laughing, stopped touching me. She'd come home late, sometimes not at all. She'd say she was with friends, blowing off steam. I'd check the joint account, and there'd be more withdrawals. $20,000 in 1 week. I confronted her. Fawn, where is the money going? She looked at me like I was stupid. I told you. My mother. Medical bills. I asked to see the bills. She exploded. Why do you keep asking me that? You don't trust me? Fine. I'll leave. I'll go back to my shitty hotel job and my shitty life, and you can find some other girl to control. I begged her to stay. I'm not trying to control you. I'm just worried. Please, Fawn, talk to me. She didn't talk. She stayed, but she was a ghost. Physically there, but emotionally gone. I threw money at the problem, hoping it would bring her back. Another $10,000 for her brother. Another $5,000 for her sister. Another $20,000 for a business opportunity she wanted to invest in. She took the money, but she didn't come back. The woman I fell in love with was gone, and I didn't know how to get her back. I woke up one morning and she was gone, not just out for the day. Gone. I reached across the bed, and it was cold. I got up, walked through the condo. The closet was empty. Her clothes, her shoes, her jewelry, all gone. Her toothbrush, her shampoo, her makeup gone. It was like she'd never existed. I checked my phone, blocked online, blocked on WhatsApp, blocked on Facebook. I called her number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. She'd blocked me everywhere. I stood in the middle of the condo, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. What the hell just happened? I grabbed my wallet and keys and ran to the bank. I walked up to the teller, breathing hard. I need to check my account. The joint account. Now. The teller looked at me, confused, then pulled up the account. She turned the screen toward me. Account balance, $347. I stared at the number. There has to be a mistake. There was over $400,000 in there last week. She scrolled through the transactions. There. were several large transfers 3 days ago, all approved by the account holder. I felt like I was going to throw up. Who approved them? She pointed at the screen. Warapurn, Suwon. I sat down in one of the chairs by the window. The teller asked if I was okay. I wasn't okay. I couldn't breathe. I sat there for 2 hours, staring at the transaction records she printed for me. $430,000, gone. Transferred to 3 different accounts, all in her name. I called the number she'd given me for her mother, the one she said was for emergencies. A man answered. He spoke Thai. I tried to explain in broken English. I'm looking for Warapurn. Fawn, is she there? He said something in Thai, then hung up. I called back. No answer. I went to the condo building and found the landlord. Where's Fawn? I asked. The woman I live with. She's gone. Do you know where she went? The landlord shook his head. She came by yesterday. Paid off the lease. Said she was moving out. Gave no forwarding address. I felt my knees buckle. Paid off the lease? With what money? He shrugged. Cash. Said she didn't need the condo anymore. I went back upstairs and sat on the floor. I called Carl. He answered on the 3rd ring. Horace? You okay, man? I told him everything. The blocked numbers, the empty account, the disappearance. He was quiet for a long time. How much did she take? I could barely say it. $430,000, he swore. Jesus, Horace. I'm sorry, man. I tried to warn you. I hung up. I didn't want to hear I told you so. I sat on that floor until the sun went down. Then I got up, packed my things, and checked into a cheap hotel in Chiang Mai. I couldn't stay in Bangkok. Every street, every corner reminded me of her, of us, of the lie I'd believed for 11 months. I added it up, $506,000 over 11 months. Rent, gifts, jewelry, clothes, family emergencies, medical bills, visa fees, trips to Phuket, to Pattaya, to Koh Samui, deposits on things we'd never use, investments in her business ideas that never materialized, furniture for the condo, new phones, laptops, a scooter she said she needed to visit her mother. I gave her my retirement, my security, my future, and for what? 11 months of feeling loved. I can't go back to Mississippi. I sold my house to stay here. I used that money to live, to fund the dream. My kids won't take my calls. Michael sent me one text after I told him what happened. I warned you, Dad. I told you this would happen. I can't help you. I have my own family to take care of. Sarah didn't respond at all. I'm living in a 6,000 baht studio in Chiang Mai. About $200 a month. It's small. 1 room with a bed, a desk, a bathroom the size of a closet. The walls are thin. I can hear my neighbors fighting, laughing, living their lives. I survive on my Social Security check, $1,500 a month. After rent, I have $1,300 left for food, utilities, transportation. It's enough. Barely, but it's enough. I'm 69 years old, and I have nothing. No savings, no home, no one. I teach English online sometimes, $20 an hour. It's not much, but it keeps me busy, keeps me from thinking too much. I eat street food, 30 baht for pad krapao, 40 baht for fried rice. I drink cheap beer at the 7-Eleven, sit on the plastic chairs outside and watch the tourists walk by, wide-eyed and excited, just like I was a year ago. I want to warn them, want to tell them to be careful, to keep their guard up, but I don't. What would I say? Don't fall in love? Don't trust anyone? They wouldn't listen. I didn't. I lost everything chasing a feeling, chasing the idea that someone could love me, want me, need me. And the worst part? The part that keeps me up at night? I do it again. Because for those first few months, I felt alive. I felt like I mattered, like I wasn't just some invisible old man waiting to die. She made me feel that way. even if it was a lie, even if she never loved me. For a little while, I believed I was worth loving, and that feeling, as pathetic as it sounds, was worth every dollar. I'm not going to get my money back. I know that. I went to the police in Bangkok before I left, sat in a station for 4 hours, trying to explain what happened. The officer listened, took notes, then shook his head. "This is a civil matter," he said. "You gave her access to the account willingly. We cannot help you." I asked about fraud, about theft. He shrugged. "You need a lawyer, and even then, it's difficult. She'll say it was a gift, that you gave her the money. Do you have proof otherwise?" I didn't. Every transfer, every withdrawal, I'd approved it, or she'd approved it with my permission. There was no crime, just stupidity. I'm not going to find her. She's probably in Bangkok right now, living in a condo I paid for, with a new guy who thinks he's special. Maybe she tells him the same stories. Maybe he believes her too. I hope he's smarter than I was. I hope he sees the red flags I ignored. But I doubt it. She's good. She's really good. I've thought about going home, back to Mississippi. But there's nothing there for me. My house is sold. My kids don't want me. My friends, if I can even call them that, have moved on. Carl checks in every few weeks, asks how I'm doing. I lie and tell him I'm fine. I've thought about ending it. I have. Late at night, when the thoughts get too loud, I think about how easy it would be. A handful of pills, a bottle of whiskey. Just go to sleep and not wake up. But I'm too tired even for that. So I stay. I teach English. I eat noodles. I drink cheap beer. I watch the expats make the same mistakes I did. Young guys, old guys, doesn't matter. They all think they're different. They all think their girl is the exception. I see them at the bars, holding hands with women half their age, buying drinks, paying for dinners. I see the way the women look at them when they're not paying attention. It's not love, it's calculation. But I don't say anything. What's the point? The truth is, I don't regret loving her. I regret believing she loved me back. There's a difference. One made me human, the other made me a fool. Loving someone, even if they don't love you back, that's not wrong. That's just life. That's what we do. We reach out, hoping someone will reach back. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. I reached out, and she took my hand. But she wasn't reaching back. She was reaching for my wallet, and I didn't see it until it was too late. I'm still here, broke, alone, but still here. I wake up every morning in this tiny studio. I make instant coffee. I sit at my desk and look out the window at the mountains. Chiang Mai is beautiful, peaceful. It's not Bangkok. It's quieter, slower. I like it here. I teach my online classes. I eat my street food. I walk around the old city, looking at temples I'll never go inside. And I survive. That's all I'm doing. Surviving. But maybe that's enough. Maybe just being here, still breathing, still living. Maybe that's the victory. Not happiness, not peace, just survival. I think about her sometimes. Wonder if she ever thinks about me. Probably not. I was just a job, a means to an end. 11 months of work for $500,000. That's a good return on investment. I hope she's happy. I really do. I hope the money bought her whatever she was looking for. A new life, security, freedom. I hope it was worth it, because it cost me everything. And that has to mean something, even if it only means something to me. The man I was a year ago doesn't exist anymore. That man believed in second chances, believed that love was enough, believed that if you just treated someone well, they'd treat you well back. I'm not that man anymore. I'm colder now, more guarded. I see things I didn't see before. I watch the expats at the coffee shops, and I see the patterns. The young Thai girlfriend who always has an emergency, the Farang who's always pulling out his wallet, the smile that disappears the moment he's not looking. I see it all now, and it makes me tired. Sometimes I wonder what I could have done differently, if I'd said no to the first family emergency, if I'd never opened that joint account, if I'd listened to Carl, if I'd listened to my kids. Would it have mattered? Or was I always going to end up here? I don't know. Maybe she would have left sooner. Maybe she would have stayed longer. Maybe it wouldn't have changed anything at all. Maybe I was always the mark, and she was always the con, and no amount of caution would have saved me from myself. Because the truth is, I wanted to believe. I needed to believe. After Janet died, after my kids stopped calling, after 43 years of waking up to the same routine, I needed to believe that there was something more, that life wasn't over, that I could still be loved, still be wanted, still matter, and Fawn gave me that. Even if it was a lie, even if every word, every touch, every smile was calculated, she gave me what I needed, and I paid for it. That's the transaction. That's what it was, a transaction. I just didn't realize it until the bill came due. I see her face sometimes, in crowds, in reflections, a woman with long black hair, and for a second, my heart stops. But it's never her. It's just a ghost, a memory of something that never really existed. I'm not angry anymore. I was at first. I wanted to find her, to confront her, to make her admit what she'd done. But what would that accomplish? She'd deny it. Or she'd shrug and say, "You gave it to me willingly." And she'd be right. I did give it to her, willingly, desperately, hopefully. I gave it because I thought it would make her stay. But people don't stay because you give them things. They stay because they want to. And she never wanted to. She wanted the money. And once it was gone, so was she. I've made peace with that. Or at least I'm trying to. Some days are easier than others. Some days I wake up and I feel okay. I teach my classes. I eat my meals. I go for walks. And I don't think about her at all. Other days, I wake up and the weight of it crushes me. The realization that I'll never have that feeling again. That no one will ever look at me the way she did, even if it was fake. That I'm just an old man now, living in a foreign country, alone. But I'm still here, still breathing, still surviving. And maybe, in some small way, that's enough.